Well, since the mirror didn't work out, decided to move on to something a little bit more exciting than just the mirror. Um, I don't know about you, but when I cruise around in the cars, I really like to enjoy some tunes, and I'll show you what I went and got. So originally, like I said before, this car was your plain Jane basic Laguna, and it came with a AM radio only. So I went out and bought off eBay a restored or remanufactured, refurbished, whatever you want to call it, radio, AM FM. Put that in, and it lasted about a week. So I went back on the eBay for $10. I bought another AM FM radio, and I had this one sent out, and it, you can see, that's where I sent it to, and they gutted it and put Aurora radio system in it. So inside it's brand new. It's supposed to work just like a modern radio. On the back is stuff for auxiliary. Had them add Bluetooth to it, so hopefully it works. On the 71 Monte, kind of a similar thing. Original looking in the front, but everything back behind is brand new, but it's not an original cased radio on that car. The radio unit's actually only about that big, and where I ran into problems is the rear mounts for it. Like right there and everything. Since the new radio didn't have them, I had to fabricate a lot of stuff on my own to make that radio fit in there and be secure. So I'm hoping, trying this way, and to be honest, I think it was like $600 to have it done, so not a cheap thing, but again, was trying to keep with the original aesthetics with the car. This is the way I decided to go, and I'm hoping that it works. I have not tried it yet, and just going to go through the process and get it working, or get it installed. I already pulled down the AC vents, so I can get up behind there and get the radio in. Also, what I want to do, I did buy a clock to go in there, and I figured, well, having this off, but I think I have to take everything apart. So probably not a thing I'm going to tackle today, because I did try to get in there before, and it was to get to a couple of the upper bolts. It was kind of hard. So, or screws or whatever they are. So I think some of the speedometer has to come out, and that's nothing I'm going to tackle today. Primary goal is just to get the radio in and get the new wires fished through. So I'm going to get cracking on this, and I'll get you back in there when I get a little bit farther. Okay, first, to get it out, I'm going to pull out the nuts here. And these are, I'm just using a 5/8 deep well. These should spin out. Then I have to go underneath and see what it is from behind. Like I said, I've had this radio out before, since it only had the AM in it, so it shouldn't be too hard. So I'll crawl under there and see what's going on. Okay, I got the radio out. Besides the nuts on the front, all there was one screw that slides into the bracket on the side. That just tightened down. That's it. See where this one's been modified already for speakers and such, but it still utilizes the original connectors too. I just used the original ones. So this one's out. The new one's gonna go in. I'm just gonna compare them up real quick and see if there's any changes I need to make. Right now I'm just fishing the wires through for the speakers. I already got the speakers in. Let's see. Went online and just bought some speaker wire, and I just only could get the 2-strand, and I tried to get it in appropriate colors. That's what it would have been, kind of original. Honestly, I think original would have been, as you can see, the original speakers ground themselves, so you just have the one power wire. but with the new setup you need a ground. So that's why the new ones have to be run. And I think if they would have had the dual speakers in the back, it would actually have been a blue one and a brown one. And in the front, the speakers don't ground since they're in the dash. If I'm correct, if I'm not, throw it in the comments and educate me. But if I remember right, the front speakers are a green wire and a black wire, and then the rear again are just a blue wire for the right rear and a brown wire for the left rear. But could not find any dual connected brown and black, so next best thing was green. So at least it's kind of right, but not that you'll ever see them anyway, because everything's under the carpet and up and hidden. So right now anyway, pulling everything through, the wires will have to go through this loom here. My 71 Monte did not have this, but this one does, so I'm going to fish it through and pull out the mosquitoes are coming out, pull out the original wiring as I do that. So, and then it just kind of goes through all this stuff. But that's what I'll be working on here. Well, this is one of the most uncomfortable positions being in the car, but not sure if you can see, but we're under the dash here, and what I'm doing is I'm just fishing the wires through. When I pulled the factory wire that goes to the rear speakers out, I attached another wire to it so I could use that as a like a fish tape and pull it through. And yeah, well, tell you, I wish I would have done this when I had the seats out. That would have made it a lot easier. But this is what we're working with right now. So once I get this through, this will be about the hardest part besides getting into the front speaker and replacing that. Okay, got it all fished through exactly how it went originally through the kick panel here, and now I'm just going down through the channel on the floor. It's going to go all the way back under the seat here and then come back out right there and then up through that loom and then back into the trunk. It's a slow process, but trying to keep it as close to, like I said, how it was from the factory as possible. And then it's a good reference. A lot of times I'll just actually even leave the factory wire in, just so if it ever wanted to be put back to complete stock, you can. But I'm actually just going to pull this one out and run these through, because once it gets to that other loom in the back, there's just not enough room in it for all these wires. So question maybe some of you guys know, but yellow wire here goes to a plug under the seat, and the plug is supposed to be for needing seat belts. If it's the sensor under there, so the car won't start. But I know they started that in, I think it was 72, but maybe even late 71. But the thing is, mine's got the wiring, but does not have any of the other relays, so I'm not sure if it was removed at some point or what. If any of you guys can help me out, let me know. But I'm going to keep fighting with this. We'll get it done and move on to the next step. Okay, I got the wires run through, so now I'm just going to have to trim them up to the proper length. Blue one's going to go on the passenger side, because that's where the blue went originally. Green's going to go over to the driver's side. Now, when it goes over, there's supposed to be some clips. I think I might have some somewhere, but that's what will hold the green up into place underneath the deck there. Stay out of the way. Basically, all I'm going to do is just use the cheap little connectors here. For the most part, you know, it will be hidden because I have the covers to go over them. So mostly everything's going to be hidden anyway. So this, you can see the difference. It's an original one. This is a repop one. But they are kind of close. A little bit different, but good enough. I wasn't going to buy two since I had one. So I'll put this one back on the passenger side because that's where it originally came off of. And put the new one over on the driver's side where the new speaker is going to be. Okay, and you can see here, I mounted this up kind of how they would have done originally. And since the original bracket for that cover won't fit on because of the larger magnet on the new speakers, I went and I used epoxy and I put an elevator bolt on because they have a flat head on it. Okay, and there you have it. Got the wires fished up through there. Got the cover on. You can see how that works, and that just presses on there. That'll help keep the sound going into the vehicle. And I just kind of tucked the green wire up on the front side of the insulation box there until I find like the clip. I think it's supposed to go like right there, and then this one will go over and go on to the passenger side. So we'll get that one done, and then we'll get everything's pretty much wrapped up here in the trunk. Now here's the finished look in the trunk. There's the original one and then the new one. A little bit more foam on the new one. And one thing to keep in mind, depending upon how fussy you are with this, but these are deeper speakers, so it doesn't sit super tight up against there, but it's tight enough that it will do its job. There you go, and then like I said, I just got to get that one more clip to hold the wire up there, and this is pretty much done. Hopefully it works pretty well. Okay, I was a little wrong. I think this is the style clip it's supposed to have, but they're supposed to fish through. But again, this was made only for a one wire. Now I got a dual wire that is heavier gauge than original. So it didn't quite work, but there's the other clip I showed you. It's not really the right spot, but put it in, keep that tucked up. What I can do with this is take some electrical tape or a zip tie, actually go around and hold that on a little bit better. Not sure if originally, I know on my other cars it came up this way, but if it had the dual speaker, if the wire would have actually crossed inside the vehicle and then came up on the driver's side, through the trunk divider, such as that. So again, not sure if this is 100% correct. I mean, either way, it's not going to be because it's modified and going through all that work, and that's all you see for any of the wiring. Maybe would have been a little excessive here, but I don't know. I think it just adds a little bit more to the fit and finish of everything. Now for the front speaker, it just has the single speaker in the middle. So I'm replacing that one with one of these custom audio sound dual. I think they're just 4-inch speakers, but then that way I can have the duals in the front and have the right and left. So was gonna make a wire harness for the front, but it already has wires attached, so might as well just use those. Well, I'm making progress. I got the front speaker in, which I'm going to tell you, that was not fun at all. First off, since the new speaker is made in China, the screw holes didn't line up, so I had to go in and ream them out a little bit, make them bigger, and get that to fit. So that took a few tries to get that being able to fit. Secondly, being crunch down there is just horrible. And then thirdly, one of the nuts that need to go onto the studs is right above the vent here. So that makes it very difficult to do. So again, if I would have had the seat out and I could just lay it on the floorboard here, it would have been perfectly fine and a heck of a lot easier, but I did not have that luxury. So just because I didn't feel like going through the work to remove it. So anyway, so now we got the right speaker, left, and left. So I'm just gonna put the connectors in. I gotta read through the manual to see which is which. And then, oh, where are they? Here's the factory plug. And of course, I thought I had the opposite end to this, and I don't, because I was going to just wire that right into this, so then they just plug in right like the factory. So what I'll end up doing is just taking the spade connectors, jamming them in there, and then just taping them on for now until I can go and get the right connector. But I'm going to go through, got the test light, trying to figure out which is which, because some are for the light, some are ground, ignition, and then we'll just keep on trucking. Okay, got the radio in, as you can see. If you notice from the other one, which I doubt, it is a little bit different on the screen. This should be the correct faceplate. The other one I don't think was for this exact year, but it fit. And all the difference is the numbers, I think, are on the top or bottom. They just are reversed. The only thing I need to do is get a different knob for the dial on that side. And I have a bunch of different ones, and this one didn't fit. So apparently it worked on the old one, but this one must be different. Actually, what I'm going to do is turn the lights down so you can see the gauge a little bit better. And that's what I had problems with initially, is hooked everything up, it worked, fuse blew. So I didn't have any dash lights. Fuse looked good. And tried to troubleshoot it, and then here it ended up being the bad fuse. So first, that is, shut this other one off here, turn it back. That's how the indicator looks, and it actually, I think it just uses the factory bulb and everything the way they did. Now, compared to the radio on my 71 Monte, that is a completely new radio, just with an old faceplate on, versus this is an old radio with new internals. This one, for initial appearance, looks better. The other one, they have a blue LED in it, and it just doesn't look as like factory as this one at night. So that's the only complaint with that one so far. Let's see. Turn. Whoa. I have not preset these yet, but everything seems to work really well. Everything moves smoothly. So, yeah, so happy. Let's see, I tried it just a minute ago, and the fade front and back works good. So, the other thing compared to the one in the other car is the dial tuning. It's real smooth, just like factory is with this one, where the other one is more of a digital. So when you turn it from side to side to tune into the channels, it actually jumps because it's motorized, instead of this is just like how they were originally. So if this holds up, the other one I've had probably a little bit more than 5 years in the car. If this one holds up and seems to work, I actually would prefer to go this route than the retro radio on that one. And again, if you want to see a little bit more detail of what's in that car, you just have to watch one of the other videos where I show it in. Can't remember the exact brand or company I got it from. It was a company out of Florida. So, but there's that one. And then just to show you guys one last time, I mean, here is all the wiring, everything's hid. So again, all that work you did and I did, and other than if you're ducking your head in the trunk, you don't even notice anything done. But you know, I know it's there, and I think going that route is just a little bit more kind of a quality thing for me, and knowing that it's more original, even though it's not, but just a little bit more correct. And I try to run everything the way it was originally, loop the wires through just to keep everything kind of for reference. But you can see, again, like I said, for original, it's still not, because I'm putting Dynapad and everything underneath to quiet things down. Originally that would have been like a tar paper. The replacements they make now is a cardboard, but it does allow sound through. So before I put the seat back in, I'll have to order some, but I am going to put some Dynaliner on there, which the difference is Dynapad just sits down. Dynaliner has an adhesive similar to this. So I'll have to order a piece, put that in, help kill some of the trunk noise coming through, and hopefully make this a pretty quiet ride. Hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, just hit them down in the comments. When I see them, I'll respond to them. Again, radio came from Joel's Classic Radio. I think he's somewhere out on the East Coast. Took a while to get, but so far seems to be worth it. So I'm very happy with it. Again, probably went a little bit overboard with some of the stuff. Hopefully this was kind of helpful and informational. And if you guys have any pointers, throw them down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. All right, thanks again, and we'll catch you next time. Bye now.